Richard from Brewing. Today we're going to look at the different wine presses that we do, and this particular video we're concentrating on the Crossbeam. The Crossbeam press is probably my favourite press. I actually think this is the best value and best made press that we actually do, but that's for you to obviously decide. We've got three sizes in the Crossbeam. We have a 5 litre, this one's the 11 litre, and we do a 20 litre as well. So we're going to show you pictures of those later with the three different sizes, and they actually give you an idea on size and height. First thing to remember is that roughly 30% of the capacity of the press will come out in juice. So if you fill this basket with fruit, you're going to get roughly 30% juice out. So from your 11 litre, you're going to get somewhere in the region of just over 3 litres of juice out of it. So bear that in mind when you're working out what size of press you need for pressing your fruit. First thing we've got to say is all these presses are made by a company called Fratelli, who are based in Italy. Fabulous company. We've dealt with them for many years, and they're a family business who've been going well over 100 years, making traditional presses in Italy. This press, as do all of them, comes with a 5-year guarantee. 5 years. These are not Chinese copies. These are the proper thing, and we firmly believe that a wine press should be for life. So once you bought this press, it should be something that you pass down through generations of your family. There's no reason why all people can't have some fantastic fun from it. Okay, if we start looking at some of the features now of the press, the first thing to say is that in the feet we have 3 screw holes, so that if you can, using this in a regular spot, try and screw the press to a firm surface. This will help when you're actually squeezing down onto the fruit. Second thing we've got is we've got a basket which has 4 retaining clips in, and these retaining clips just pop out. I'll just turn that round so that we can see the other side as well. So those 4 clips come out, and the basket comes apart with 2 halves. So when we come to clean, this really does make life a lot easier. We'll put the jet hose on it and give it a good clean. Well, we've got it in position. The blocks that we're using here, these wooden blocks, are beech, and we are evaporating and squeezing so that the beech is a really, really strong piece of mechanism. It's doing all the work, and we have a band that goes round with little stainless steel screws going through. They've got nuts on them, so if you do want to replace any of these struts, it is possible to do that. Not a problem. I'm actually going to take this now and just put that and this one, because I want you to see inside the press, because I think this is really important. We've got here what's called the Crossbeam press. So we have a spindle which is coming down the centre and is pressing on. Now the base plate comes to bits. So this is the base plate. This is all in stainless steel. We've got the drip tray part here at the front, the little spout to let the stuff come through, and you've got the construction of the press that you can see, which is really, really good and strong. So I'm just going to put that back into position, the base plate. We've also got the pressing plate. Now this pressing plate is also made of stainless steel. So the 2 parts which are coming into contact with, especially the apples, if we're doing cider, are stainless steel. Now the stainless steel part is so important because apples are just so corrosive. They just eat into anything, and with having stainless we don't have to worry about the maintenance of it. It's here for good. With a screw that holds the pressing plate in place here, but this will still rotate. So as we tighten, this is rotating. This allows the press to do its job and actually squeeze out the juice. If this was fixed, we'd have a nightmare trying to press. Both pieces of stainless steel have a special finish on them. There's only 2 factories in the world that actually do it, and they're both based in Italy. They put a spray on it and it's then heat treated, and it's the only thing that the wine industry in Italy recognise as being totally safe for their pressing of their grapes. So I think it's a feature that you'll look at it and you'll think, that stainless looks a bit dull. Well, the reason is because they've got this special film on it. I was lucky enough to be at the factory about 18 months ago, and they just installed this equipment, and it really is quite spectacular as you see them doing it. It's obviously quite an expense for them, but it's one that they have to do in Italy and they feel is really worthwhile here in the UK. Now, what's the idea of the crossbeam? Well, the idea of the crossbeam is that we can allow these 2 screws here in place, and the top will swing away like so. Now, the advantage with this, in fact, what I'll do is I'll just stop for a second and I'm going to wind this up and you can actually see it in proper action. So we'll move that back and we'll just wind this pressing plate up. So we've got the pressing plate here, we've got the spindle wound up to the top, and we're just going to let that drop forward. There's bolts, arms here which hold it in place. Now the advantage is that I've now got the open part of the press here, the top part here, that I can put my fruit, my apples can go in my straining bag. The straining bag can then drop into the basket. It's not essential to use the straining bag, but most people prefer to use it. But it's not essential, you can put the apples in loose. But the bag goes into the place here and folds over nicely. Once the bag is in position in the press, I can then swing the top back over into position, drop the arm, tighten those up, and I can now turn down and press onto the juice. So this is coming down into position and it's going to press the apple juice. So we're in position now to do our pressing, and you can see how easy that is, that actual movement. All we're going to do is press all the way down, whereas with the spindle press we're having to put blocks into position, and it is nowhere near as convenient as this is on the actual crossbeam press. Once we've finished pressing, again we wind up to the top, swing away. We can then pull out the straining bag with all the apples, which are all squeezed and sort of all the juices out of them. We can pull that out, chuck it away out of the straining bag, and then do our next one. The other advantage to the spindle press is that when that arm is pushed away, on the bigger models you can actually sit your crusher on the top. You can then crush your fruit and the fruit will drop straight down into your basket. You can't do that with the spindle press. I say that's an advantage. It is if you are a one-man operator. I tend to find that whenever we're having a pressing day at home, I get my kids, the grandkids involved in it, and we all have a bit of fun. So we tend to find that one person's actually doing the crushing and another person's doing the pressing. So we sit the crusher on a bucket as opposed to on the press. But if you're a one-man operator, you can crush, move the crusher away, swing your top over and drop down. Now, the other thing that I think is really quite relevant is we give a 5-year guarantee on this, but the main reason we're doing a 5-year guarantee is because the quality is fantastic. But if we have any problems, inside this part here, we have a block with a thread version with 2 locking nuts that hold that in place here and one on the back. So if anything happens, it's that part which will tend to go. All we do is use the Allen keys to remove these nuts. The piece will drop out of the bottom and we can then put a new piece in. So if there's anything that goes wrong, it tends to happen in here. Now the cheaper versions will just have a thread put into this top section. It won't be an insert, it's the insert that makes all the difference. This can then be kept nicely oiled. Again, we recommend use something like food grade Vaseline, or Vaseline which is food grade, can go on here, just keep it all nicely oiled and moist for you. There's actually very little else that can go wrong with this crossbeam. It is quite heavy, so when you lift it, be careful. Sometimes it's easier to take it to bits. For storage, for transporting, you can take the bottom plate off, you can lift this up, screw the spindle right down and take the basket off, so you've actually got 3 pieces plus the framework, and it makes carrying and transporting really quite easy. Well, I've left till last the best. This is the F25 INOX. Very much designed for people who just want the very best. It's the Rolls Royce. It really is the business. Obviously the main benefit to it is the whole cage is in stainless steel. So here you can see all stainless steel. They're little tubes of stainless steel with black plastic on the top. Beautiful they are, absolutely gorgeous, and designed for pressing apples and pears, the acidic fruit. That's when you're going to get the benefit of the fact that it is all stainless steel. So not only do we have the stainless steel tray that we've dealt with on the F20 and the F25, and we also have the stainless steel pressing plate, which is obviously the main thing that comes into contact with the acidic fruit, but in this case we also have the stainless steel basket as well. This one again coming with a 5-year guarantee. Once you've bought this, you'll never ever need to buy another press. It's absolutely fantastic, but you do pay for it. So enjoy.